It is the 2026 Northwest Event Show. How are we doing? I know, my name's Jonathan West. I am the Director of Entertainment for the Hall Group. If you do not know what that is, that's Queen Anne Beer Hall, Moss Bay Hall, and the Hall on Occidental right next to Lumen Field. So I'm here all day long in this room. If you want to sacrifice knowledge in other rooms to be right here with me and us, feel free to do so. Who was the first person here today? John, you can't win. Who was the first person? Who was the first like session attendee? That was you? Well, no. I'm not going to have you speak, but I would like to give you something special from the hall for being the first one in here today, because we do have the best pretzels in town. So thank you so very much. Yes, that might be an extra incentive to be here with us today. This first session is quite special, and of course, waking up early in the morning or dealing with difficult clients, resilience, perseverance, those things are very, very important in the entertainment and events industry. A mantra of mine, whether it's hosting different events, being at the hall, working in the front office of an arena football team right now, of all things, is working hard but being nice, right? How do you take those hard situations in front of you and be able to persevere? Well, this guy, our first speaker here today, he's been in the hotel industry about 40 years, has managed hotels all over the Seattle area, and he has a very special reveal for you here today. Only 400 people in the world have ever done what he's about ready to do. You'll find that out later. And we also have a special performance here afterwards that's going to kind of wrap things up, okay? So please, welcome to the stage from San Clemente, California, Jim Elston.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you. March 19th, 1993, Sacramento, California. I was a young general manager in the largest hotel in the state capital. The day started, not any different than most days. But as we moved into the afternoon and the lunch session, I could feel the energy rising through the floor, literally through the marble floor. Not because there was a California earthquake, but because General Colin Powell was downstairs about to deliver a keynote. At the time, he was the chairman and chief, overseeing all of the military in the United States. And he was there to speak to 600 local business people. Before he started his speech, there were only 599 people in that room. But I had already taken my spot upstairs, happy and satisfied that we were ready to kick off an incredible day. I'd done something 2 months earlier, a little non-conventional for a general manager, was I moved my desk out of my office and I moved it to the lobby. I did that because, as you all know from being planners and executives, the lobbies are the nucleus of hotels. It's where service starts, and it's where hospitality finishes. And if something's going to arise, it's going to make its way to the lobby. Sat at the desk, relieved that we had 599 people downstairs. Colin Powell had begun his talk. At 12:02, the sliding glass doors opened, and Mr. B.T. Collins, Vietnam veteran, assemblyman, chief of staff to the governor. He was unique in so many ways, mostly because he was the first Republican to be selected by a Democratic governor to be his chief of staff. That's who B.T. Collins was. Besides that, B.T. Collins also suffered a great tragedy in Vietnam. In 1967, BT lost his right arm, his right hand, and his right leg in a battle in Vietnam. BT was one of those people that when he came into the room, even if he was late for General Colin Powell, he still made the room move. He eyed me. I had met him 3 or 4 times, and he started to approach my desk in the lobby because he knew he was going to make an immediate left turn before he went downstairs to the ballroom. He got about 3 steps from my desk, surrounded by aides, and my assistant manager was there next to me, and he did a little sidestep. And my first reaction as the general manager was he was slipping on the marble. And then he stepped back the other way, and he fell forward. And the hook on his right hand shattered into my wood desk, and he went down very hard. My instinct was to get up and to see what he had slipped on. BT didn't slip. BT died in my lobby that day in 1993. 599 people downstairs did not have a clue. Colin Powell finished his speech, was exited out the back. BT Collins was tended to and left the hotel. I've thought about that moment more than 1,000 times since I was a young general manager in that hotel in 1993. I think about BT and I think about what he went through and where his life ended and what he'll be remembered for and still is today as a hero, not just in California, not just in government, but to many people. He had moral courage. He was funny without being small. He served our government after his sacrifice. He crossed political lines. And to date, 30 years later, he's one of the only politicians that to me made government feel human. He had that power. At the same time, before lunch, he could offend you, he could help you, he could make you laugh, he could make you better. All before lunch. BT didn't survive Vietnam being careful. So I started to think, what is it like to live with purpose? What is it like to have that level of resilience? How did he come about being so strong and still so humble? I want to show you here. Let's see if I can see this. We're going to talk about resilience because a lot of times it gets mistaken. When you think of somebody resilient, what do you think of? Somebody tough, somebody battle-tested, someone who survived the worst. That's survival. That's not resilience. That's survival. Resilience happens after you go through those things. After you go through a bad divorce, after you go through a very horrible meeting, after you've had to let an employee go, what you do next is resilience because you've already survived the bad situation. Resilience is not what you do in crisis. And I say this because there's not anybody in this room that has not been through a crisis, personally or professionally. When you hear that feedback from the client that didn't go well, the comments come back and the remarks that are a little stinging and painful, you just don't want to get up again. You don't want to go and do it again. But you know where your resilience comes from? All of those thousands of things that happened before make you resilient. What is resilience? It's practice, it's memory, it's making a choice in advance, And it's stacking and stacking and stacking all of those things that you've been through in your life that may not be part of being a meeting executive, but you use it. You use it for your resilience because you've been through something tougher or harder. Meeting execs have the most resilient, demanding jobs on the planet. Anybody agree with that? You know why? Because you have to take every individual's special moment and make it perfect over and beyond your own. You are the last one that can break. You're not allowed to break. When you know things are wrong, you have to make it look and feel perfect. When that client comes in and says the staging is off 2 inches and it's going to be a catastrophe, you nod and you say it's going to be perfect. And you fix it. I'm glad it's a smaller group today because I can get a little more intimate and pull up here, because it's not so much hearing about BT Collins or about me being in the hotel business, but it's really about how to build framework for yourself, because you're already resilient. But I want to share some framework today that will answer this question. Who takes care of the people who take care of everyone else? Who takes care of the people who takes care of everybody else? You do. You take care of the people. And the thing we forget as planners and executives is to take care of ourselves. You've got to have a framework. I've seen so many great people go through burnout. I've seen so many people leave the industry because they didn't have a framework to follow. It was probably there, but they just weren't able to stack the blocks. That question, when I ask myself, after 40 years in the business, just finishing up a tenacious 5-year startup in the hospitality industry, which was a lot of hard work. It took a lot of resilience, but it also took a lot out of me. When I ask myself the question, what can I do to take care of myself? It took me to a boat. And that's the analogy I want you guys to think about today. What is in your boat? What is that decision that you've been holding off making for yourself that's going to keep you motivated to keep going, keep rowing? I had a chance to be stubborn or to give in or to learn. And this row in my boat reminds me of my first job in the hotel business. I'm scared, and in a minute you'll find out why I'm scared. I was unexperienced, and I really didn't know what was going to happen when I got in the business. But you know, for me, I found it like people find religion. And then I got compulsive about it and conviction. 18-year-old young kid in college becomes a bellman and never leaves the hotel business. Because it matched my energy, it matches your energy. It's a place where you can go to a lobby and see it conformed into a community in one day with strangers. It's also a very selfish business. Hospitality is very selfish. And I'll tell you why. Because of the pleasure that it gives us for those that serve. I'm going to ask you guys, it's a small room, so I think I can pull this off. But I'm going to ask you to just repeat one thing for me. And I'm going to give you two takeaways today. And this very first one is, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is what happens in others when you do what you do. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Your purpose is not what you do. And we all think, people say, what do you do? Oh, I plan meetings. I do conferences. I do special events. That's not what you do. What you do is what happens in the others. You make memories. You make people feel good. I sit here, I say that today, and still after 40 years, just saying it, I get goosebumps sitting up here. And if you don't, and it doesn't make you feel that way, I don't think you're going to be here next year. And there are many of you that have been here year after year after year, and will find other opportunities in hospitality. Back to my boat. This is the way that I'm going to do something extraordinary. I'm an ordinary guy. I'm an ordinary guy trying to do some extraordinary things. The framework that I want to tell you about, I want you to pick one of these. When you get back to your room tonight, after you've been through a long day, pick one of these 3 frameworks and add something to it. And at the very end, I'm going to put up a QR code. You're welcome to take a picture of that QR code, and I'm going to send you the frameworks. You just hit me up in the DM, and I will send you the framework. Pick one of these. Framework number 1. Work for reward. Okay, one thing we also know is there are not too many people in the hospitality business because you're making huge paychecks. Your reward isn't always going to be making the most money on the block. You can make great money, but that's not why we get into this business. We work for reward. That reward is what I mentioned about taking care of others. We don't work to avoid punishment, and not because somebody's watching. Because where we're really learning and where resilience is built is on the ordinary Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays when there's nothing extraordinary happening. There's not a general speaking in your ballroom. There's not an assemblyman dying in the lobby. You already have to have resilience. You need to be able to have a muscle in your body that's responding through stacking years and years of resilient moments to get you and your team through that. So if you pick work for reward, pick what you're going to do next to somebody that you get a chance to extend some hospitality to. Do hard things on purpose. This is where resilience is really, really built. When you do hard things on purpose, hard things stop looking for you. You start finding them. And then when that crazy day or that unmanageable client or that team member doesn't do the right things, it's a muscle reaction. You know how to respond because you've been doing hard things on purpose. In order to do them on purpose, you must go out and seek them. You must find them. There aren't too many resilient people that I know, and I think hopefully your mind will go to some, if you're not thinking about yourself, who aren't intentionally uncomfortable with something in their life every day. It's with intention. Maybe it's a long run. Maybe it's a cold plunge. Maybe it's eating chicken liver at your mother's and you don't like it. But you're doing something uncomfortable. And that in itself builds resilience. And it builds resilience once again, and I repeat so many of these things because I want you to start building that resilience muscle right now. And remember, when you choose something on purpose that is difficult, it builds a pattern. So when Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are boring and there's nothing happening, but Friday, a general's speaking in your hotel, or an assemblyman isn't going to make it downstairs, you're prepared. Control your reality is probably the most radical thing that I will say today. People always challenge me on this. How can you control your reality? You know what? We cannot control what is going to happen. But we can control what it means, how we handle it. That's how you control your reality. This is a big teaching moment because many of you have staff that report to you. And the reality is we have the responsibility as leaders to tell them you are in control of your reality, meaning you can't control that the venue was double booked. You can't control the keynote speaker that called you at 11 o'clock to change their slide deck. The client who says the stage is 2 inches off. But you can change what that means to you. This is the one that I defer to all the time. Because I walk out the door, I choose to turn left. I choose to turn right. I choose to walk here today without an umbrella, hoping that it doesn't rain. Sometimes I make the wrong choices. But when I walk out and it's raining, I choose what that means. I chose not to come with it today. When you start applying this to resilience, it stacks and it stacks and it stacks. Then you're smiling. You're smiling through very tough times. You don't have to do what I did and tattoo that symbol on my inside upper bicep. You don't have to put work for reward on your other bicep. But I did, because that's what I needed. I needed both of those as daily reminders. And you need daily reminders too. So if you're not going to tattoo your mantras on your body to remind you every day, put them on the bathroom mirror. Put them on your steering wheel. Go home tonight, take that sticky note that you're carrying around in your backpack, and write down something you're going to do hard on purpose. Write down what you're going to do for your reward to make somebody else feel better in an incredible business. Now, for what I'm going to do, I don't recommend this either, because June 27th of 2027, didn't realize that, June 27th of 2027, I'm going to get in a rowboat in Monterey, California, and I'm going to row a 24-foot rowboat to Hawaii. Before 6 months ago, I'd never been in a rowboat. I get seasick watching boats in the harbor. But I'm doing something hard on purpose. I'm working for my reward. And I'm doing it for myself. And yes, less than 400 people have successfully rowed a 24-foot rowboat in the history of the world from Monterey, unsupported, to Hawaii. But you know what? It's 80% resilience. Out of the 400 people that have done it, there are about 180 people still alive. And I've talked to 30 of them. Every single one of them tells me, John, it's 10% tactical, it's 10% physical, and it's 80% resilience. What are you going to do to build that resilience? You know what I tell them? I've been doing it for 40 years. I've been building resilience in the hospitality business. I chose to be there. Tonight, make your choice of how you're going to build your resilience. Take a picture of that, and I will send you, just type the word resilience, and I'm happy to send you a little playbook of what to follow, how to do it, and it is based around meeting executives and hospitality professionals. When I come back next year to celebrate and give everybody a high five, maybe we can talk them into having the meeting in Hawaii so I don't have to row back. But nonetheless, I know that there are going to be many of you in this room that have worked on your resilience. And I just want to thank you for being here today to share my dream and where I'm going in the future. Thank you.
John Elston, everyone. We could do a quick Q&A if you'd like. We do have microphones here. I'll come around to you if you'd like to ask a question of John. That's quite an admirable feat, going from California to Hawaii.
Friends say that it's a midlife crisis, and they might be right.
Now, that's an overused term, though, right?
It is an overused term.
It is an overused term. But when everything's easy, people are all in, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But what happens when things get hard?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It seems like the numbers fall off, right? So anyone have any questions, comments?
Someone always has a question about the row. Nobody has a question? Yes.
Okay, here we go. Hold on one second. Well, we want to get this on the session, though, too, so there we go.
You said you're doing this for your reward, and what is that?
Well, wow. That is a great question. Thank you. And one of the things I promise wherever I go, I'm not going to sell from the stage, but I want to tell you why I'm doing it. My reward is I'm raising, not single-handedly, I have a great ground team. I'm raising $5 million in this process for people suffering from paralysis. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the reward, is I'm going to be able to keep a facility open in perpetuity by raising $5 million for people that aren't fortunate enough to be able to get in a rowboat. So thank you for asking that question, but that's my reward.
So one final thing, we do have Dex here from Event Wraps.
I got to see how he makes that into a
This is
wrap.
very interesting. I didn't even talk about how this was going to go. So Dex, why don't you come on up here? He is here in our breakout room today, listening to the sessions and giving a performance wrap as a wrap of the session. So give it up for Dex from Event Wraps.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Good. All right. So my name is Dex McBean. I'm here from Event Wrap, and what we've been doing is sitting in the back and listening to John's incredible story and writing about it in the moment. I'm going to give you some a little backstory. Before we came in, John was like, hey, could give you the notes. You want the notes? I said, no, I want to hear it in real time with everybody else, and then I'll write about it. So I've got our tech people over here. I'm going to call him DJ Cal today and producer Alex. So we're going to get it started. Hey, welcome in. You just missed the session, but luckily for you, we're about to talk about it right now. Yeah, yeah. Hands, hands, hands. Hands up like this. Hands up like this. Yeah, hands up like this. Hands up like this. Yeah, we don't give up, we don't quit. Do the hard things on purpose. Keep your composure, there ain't nothing budging it. Challenge is a practice, not punishment. We don't give up, we don't quit. Do the hard things on purpose. Keep your composure, there ain't nothing budging it. Challenge is a practice, not punishment. Shout out to John West, host all day in the hole. Both his height and integrity are both tall. Work hard and be nice, that's definitely the stencil. He doesn't get it twisted, he's got the best pretzels. Shout out to John Elston, a pro from new to this. Moved his desk to the lobby because that's the nucleus. That's the first place of entry, last of service in the industry. R.I.P. to B.T. Collins, March 19th, 1993. A veteran and I called to all that knew him. And one of the best at making government feel less like politics and more human. Survival is optimism in your battle-tested chapters. But resilience is what you do after. Meet your planners can't break when challenges occur. You smile, you pivot, and then you serve. Any challenges, meeting pros have the answer. But the biggest question is who serves the planner? John was led to a boat and found his mission. That's why he found his purpose and conviction. Your purpose is not what you do for fun. It's what you do that makes others how they feel when you're done. Framework must be the mantra. Not rewarded for dollars, but the hospitality you extend to others. Do the hard things on purpose, grind through, because when you look harder, they stop trying to find you. Do the hard things on purpose, grind through, because when you look for hard things, they stop trying to find you. So many gems that we got today from John. Control your reality by how you respond. You don't need a tattoo like John to remind you. You can put it on the mirror just to guide you. Shout out to John, because he's keeping the code. Going from Cali to Hawaii while rowing the boat. Already succeeded, because he's willing to try it. This resilience, not a midlife crisis. He's the spark and the catalyst, raising awareness for all the people with paralysis. We don't give up, we don't quit, we do the hard things on purpose. Keep your composure, there ain't nothing budging it. Challenges are practice and not punishment. We don't give up, we don't quit, we do the hard things on purpose. Keep your composure, there ain't nothing budging it, cause challenges are practice and not punishment. We don't give up, we don't quit, we do the hard things on purpose. Keep your composure, there ain't nothing budging it, cause challenges are practice and not punishment. Make some noise for yourselves.
Give it up for Dex.
Thank you all.
Give it up for Dex from Event Wrap. Gotta love it. And one more time for John Elston.
Sorry about that. Oh, one more thing.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. The boss will kill me if I don't say this. If anybody has any video of the performance that they would like to share with us, please meet us in the back. Shake my hand. I'll shake your hand. Let me take a picture of your badge. We can do this for any of your events as well. And yeah, thank you very much. Shout out to John, both Johns. We've got two Johns. We've got double the John in here, so you know it was great. And thank you again. Have a good day.